I didn't know I would receive the plan that could change your life and our world. And that's not entirely true. I couldn't say that I didn't know, but I will say that I couldn't accept it, which is the same for you because there's something in your life that you had not been able to accept or are still trying to, or might be pushed to do that more today. Because today is when you can become successful, when you can start to accept who you are. Nothing in our world or in your life is happening accidentally. That is something that we discover as we live, depending on when we live, but we discover that over time. And I couldn't have told you that I would have had this information, but most times I was trying to deny it and I was hiding from it like you might have been. But we're all at this place now where we can no longer do that because you're supposed to have this wonderful life. You're supposed to be happy and abundant and prosperous. And that happens when you can embrace yourself and embrace your life journey. And it's going to be different for all of us. And mine was quite different. And I ignored most of it, or I attempted to, but I'm not doing that anymore because what happens is you wreck your life. You start to go into self sabotage. Because what will happen is that you will start to get ideas, inklings, or glimpses of who you are, who you want to become, and then that other voice will come in and say, no, that's not you. You can't do it. And then you may come back and change it the next day. You get a little bit better and you go further. And then maybe eventually you get there. And then one day you say, wow, this is who I am and I can accept myself now. But that journey could be really difficult. And for many of us, it's been long. I'm saying that because there are many people alive now who are really uncomfortable with the way the world looks. But that's why you're here. You're here to change it when you decide to embrace yourself and embrace who you are and what you came to bring to the world. And now would be the time. I said the other day that I had discovered that I had been given the fail-proof personal development program, the first one in history. And I didn't know why I was even saying that, but now I do. Because I developed something through Wilhelm. They gave us information that we could understand our lives and our world in a new way. Because they started taking me into information in the quantum field, meaning information that has always existed, but we accept it in our lives and in our consciousness a little bit at a time. That's individually and collectively. When I started doing automatic writing in 1989, it was never for this. I'm just saying you will change into something different in your life as you evolve, because that happens again in your consciousness, which you're never done with as long as you're alive. And it just depends on if you're going to give up. And this is not the time to give up, and this is the time to actually step forward. And that's what we're meant to do, but it takes a while. When you go to anyadvicefortoday.com, you will see on that site the messages from 2008 until today, because that's how Wilhelm gave me information. And that's what I discovered recently was it was that quantum field. I couldn't have known that. But as you read the messages, you will see it for yourself because they're aligned over the same day over all of these years. And then I started thinking, how did that happen? That was an ability, a talent that I developed that I couldn't have known. I was not like the other channels that you might have known because I didn't do things like they did. And if you listen to the video that's included in this session today or the one the other day, you'll hear that. I couldn't have known what I was given. I couldn't have known how this was coming about. And it's the same for you. It makes no sense for us to live if unless we're going to bring something new to the world that's going to make our lives and the world better. But we become afraid of that because we've been programmed to think differently. And that's exactly what happened for me. But I can no longer do that because I know exactly what's happening in our world and in your life because Wilhelm has laid it out for us. I'm going to give you some documents so you can see for yourself because what happened with me over all of these years, 36 years, and I need everyone to understand this is why I'm shifting, because I just want to guide people to who they want to become, to their fullest potential, because all the questions have been answered. Because The answers are within you. What I've done is develop this system that has you uncover them. And so when you think about personal development, self actualization, or ascension, all of that is in Wilhelm's work. And that's what was revealed. And it would have been made not a lot of sense to many people, including me, because it had never been done before. And as you go through any of the messages on the site over the last several days, you will see that it goes from 2008 until last year, and you'll see there's an alignment there. And I didn't know how that occurred because I'm not sitting and thinking about it. I'm receiving information. There's the quantum field of intelligence that we all can access. And this information was meant to give more people the ability to do that because this is about self empowerment and life mastery. This work, just because it came through me, but it wasn't for me, it was for everyone else because we were moving through this challenging time in our world. And this brings you to light. This brings you to understanding yourself and becoming abundant and happy. That's what happened. So now I'm taking, I hid from myself as you might have done. Now is not the time to do that. So I'm going to work with those people who are no longer willing to be afraid. And I'm going to develop all of Wilhelm's work because I've only put a small portion in. And now everyone will see that this is the work that will change your life and our world. You see, because it's not one person doing it. More of us have to change if we expect to see a change happen in the world. And that means coming together within yourself and owning yourself. And sometimes it will take a while. It took me 75, almost 75 years. So you cannot judge yourself for anything, especially now. It's a time for you to move forward. I'll leave links for you to see of the work that Wilhelm has given all of us because this period is meant to change your life and our world. And that's all the information that you will see on the site today. But now's the time. You become successful and you decide to take that step of self ownership. That's what I'm doing today. I'll see you soon.